The scream echoed through the hospital corridor like the cry of something ancient breaking. "Help, someone please help me!" Sarah Collins stumbled forward. Her hospital gown stained dark as she clutched her belly. Her knees gave out and she crashed onto the cold tile floor. Blood spread beneath her, too much, too fast, not again. "Please, not again," she gasped. Two orderlies sprinted toward her. "Get a gurney now!" Within seconds, they were wheeling her toward the emergency ward, rubber wheels squealing under fluorescent lights that flickered like fading hope. Dr. Aisha Rahman burst through the doors, mask on, eyes sharp. "What's her BP?" she demanded. 70/40, dropping fast, Nurse Leah called out. "History?" Miguel, the young resident, flipped through the chart. "Placenta previa. Ruptured uterus last year. 2 miscarriages. She shouldn't even be pregnant." Sarah's fingers gripped the sheet weakly. "They told me it was a miracle," she gasped. "If I rested, they said maybe." Aisha bent close, her voice calm but fierce. "You did nothing wrong." "But we have to move fast," Miguel muttered. "At 24 weeks? This is hopeless. We stabilized the mother—" "Not in front of her," Aisha snapped. Sarah's eyelids fluttered. "Please, save my baby." "His name's Noah," Aisha's voice softened. "Focus on breathing, Sarah. We'll handle the rest." Then louder. "Page the OR. Emergency C-section, now." The hallways blurred as they rushed her through, machines beeping in sync with her fading pulse. Inside the operating room, the air was electric with urgency. "She's losing blood fast," Aisha shouted. "Clamp that artery. More O-negative." Miguel worked quickly, but his hands trembled. "She's only 24 weeks. This is pointless." Aisha's voice cut through the chaos. "If you can't handle hope, get out." Sarah's hand moved weakly toward her. "Everyone said my body was broken." Aisha squeezed her hand. It held him this far. That means something. Scalpel. The incision was clean, quick, and terrifying. Blood welled instantly. The room filled with the rhythmic beeping of monitors. Each sound a countdown. Heart rates dropping. Leah shouted, "Hold pressure." Miguel leaned toward the monitor. "No fetal heartbeat." Aisha froze. "No, check again." Miguel hesitated, then adjusted the probe. Nothing. Then a flicker. So faint it could have been a glitch. "There!" Aisha gasped. Miguel frowned. "That's just uterine spasm." "It moved," Aisha said sharply. "Forceps." The membrane quivered beneath the light, and then, from the wound, a tiny translucent form slipped into the world. So fragile it looked unreal. Laya's breath hitched. "Oh my God. He's the size of my hand." Aisha cupped the fragile baby gently in both hands. "Give me suction." Miguel shook his head. "He won't take a breath." Aisha didn't look up. "Then watch him prove you wrong." She cleared his airway with a microsuction tube, then tapped the tiny chest once, twice. For a moment, nothing. Then, a faint, trembling gasp. Laya covered her mouth. He breathed. The monitor came to life. Beep, beep, beep. Sarah stirred on the table, barely conscious. "What was that?" Aisha bent close. "Your son. He's alive." Tears slipped down Sarah's face. "Alive?" "He shouldn't be," Miguel murmured. "But he is," Aisha said firmly. They moved fast, transferring Noah to the incubator. Wires, tubes, alarms. "Come on, Noah," Aisha whispered.
"Stay with me." Beep, pause, beep. Laya smiled through tears.
Heartbeat steadying. Miguel slumped against the counter, disbelief softening into awe. This defies every protocol." Aisha smiled faintly. "Protocol doesn't create miracles. People do." The rain outside battered the windows. Inside, silence took over. Miguel frowned. "Aisha, how did he even come out? You never opened the uterus wide enough." Aisha's brows knit together. "I didn't." They exchanged a puzzled glance. The nurse whispered, "You mean he wasn't delivered through the incision?" Aisha leaned over the surgical field. Her breath caught. A hairline tear, thin as a pencil line, and ran along the uterus. "He came through there," she whispered. "A spontaneous micro-rupture." Miguel's face drained of color. "That's impossible. A fetus that small would be torn apart." "Then explain why he's breathing," Aisha said. They stabilized Sarah, stitched, layered, repaired. Noah's tiny heart kept fluttering beside them like a whisper of defiance. "Keep the ventilator steady," Aisha ordered. Miguel shook his head. "You realize this will go into every journal in the world." Aisha smiled faintly. "Then let them write it after he grows up." In the neonatal unit, day and night blurred. Machines hummed, alarms wailed, nurses moved like shadows. Aisha hadn't slept in 2 days. Laya hovered at Noah's side, checking temperature every few minutes. "Temp's dropping," she cried. Aisha pressed her gloved hands gently around the incubator. "Not tonight, little man. You hold on for me." Sarah, still weak, watched through the glass, tears streaming. "He looks so small," Miguel muttered. "He weighs less than a cup of sugar." Aisha's voice softened. "Then maybe sweetness keeps him alive." Hours passed. Days blurred, and then, one morning, a sound broke through the machines, a squeaky, weak but unmistakable cry. Everyone froze. "He cried," Laya gasped. Aisha laughed through tears. "He finally cried." Sarah's sob turned into laughter. Miguel wiped his eyes silently. Aisha leaned close to the incubator. "Welcome to the world, Noah. You've already broken every rule." Weeks passed. Noah's color changed from translucent pink to soft, healthy flesh. His heartbeats grew louder, his breathing steadier. Miguel's once hard eyes softened as he read the latest chart. "You realize we can discharge him soon?" he said quietly. "He's gaining weight." Sarah reached through the portholes, her fingertip brushing Noah's. His tiny hand closed around hers, firm, certain. Aisha smiled. "He was born through a wound and lived through one. Maybe that's what strength really is." 2 weeks later, the hospital was surrounded by cameras. Headlines flashed across the world. "World's smallest baby survives impossible birth." "1 in a billion miracle. Born through a natural tear." Inside, Sarah sat quietly, ignoring the noise beyond the doors. She cradled her son against her chest, the warmth of him melting every memory of pain. Miguel entered the room, hesitant. "We still can't explain it," he said. "That tear, how it spared him." Aisha smiled faintly. "Some mysteries aren't meant for textbooks," he nodded. "You were right. Sometimes, hope is the treatment." Sarah looked up, her eyes wet. "You saved him, doctor." Aisha shook her head. "No, you did. By never giving up on a body everyone said was broken." Outside, sunlight poured through the clouds for the first time in weeks. Inside, Noah's eyes fluttered open, catching the light. Aisha whispered as she signed the discharge papers. "You weren't just born strange, little one. You were born strong." Hours later, Sarah stepped outside. Reporters shouted, cameras flashed, but she heard none of it. All that mattered was the tiny heartbeat pressed against her chest. Aisha and Miguel stood by the entrance. "Watching her go, Miguel said softly. "We may never see something like this again." Aisha nodded. "That's what makes it sacred." He looked at her. "Do you ever think about how it started?" "The blood, the panic, the scream. Every day," she said. "Because sometimes the impossible begins with pain." That night, Sarah sat in the nursery at home. The soft hum of the baby monitor filled the quiet. She rocked gently, eyes half closed, Noah sleeping in her arms. Her mind drifted back. The floor, the pain, the blinding lights. And then that sound, that faint, fragile breath that changed everything. She looked down at her son, her voice barely a whisper. "They said I couldn't carry life, but you proved them wrong." Outside, dawn broke again. Light spilled across the crib, painting everything in gold. Noah's eyelids fluttered. His lips curved into the smallest hint of a smile. A mother's tears fell softly onto his blanket. They said she couldn't carry life again. They said no baby that small could ever breathe, but she did. And he did. And together, they proved the truth that medicine can't explain. That sometimes the greatest miracles are born through pain, through faith, and through the wound that was never meant to open.